Well, welcome everybody. Today we have our Coldwell Banker Paradise office manager for both our Satellite Beach office and our Indian Atlantic office, Stephen Johnson. So we're going to talk about HomeHub powered by thisisourlist.com. And thanks for joining us, Stephen. In your role as an office manager, how do you think this helps each of your agents add to their value proposition?
First and foremost, I am a believer that this is a relationship development business and industry first. Developing relationships can take a lot of time. Sometimes we can do things to cheat that time by solving a problem. Sometimes it can be very difficult to keep the cadence of staying in front and staying in touch with someone to make sure that we're cultivating that relationship. So I think that HomeHub offers a truly unique opportunity to continue to cultivate strong relationships by staying in contact with customers, past customers, specifically, existing and past customers specifically. Strengthening a relationship by solving a problem. I train, especially our newer agents in relationship developing, that there can be ways that we can speed up the time it takes to develop strong relationships that yield a real estate transaction. But typically, the ways to do that are to buy it, kind of cheat your way by doing something like that, an acquisition of a lead or something along those lines. Or to me, a more organic and personal way to do it is to solve a problem. HomeHub obviously offers the linkage to staying connected, the customer having, whether it be a problem, a question, or a need, and us being there in real time to come in, solve that problem, or be a resource to help, which to me is the way you solidify relationships.
For you as an office manager, how can you help an agent understand the program and explain, one of the big value props that it's all about the agent, everything's personally branded to them?
Good management or good leadership should take, and we have wonderful management leadership at this company, my colleagues, and it takes identifying and linking with the individual agent in order to, in my opinion, leverage and link the assets that we have that will best serve that agent. Mm-hmm. These are independent contractors that bring different skills, different strengths, weaknesses, different experiences to bear. And so there's going to be different tools, in my opinion, and assets that are really strong, piece to incorporate in one agent's business versus the other. That said, the need to develop relationships, the need to stay connected to people, the need to, again, be a resource that is answering questions, solving problems, to me is universal. To me, HomeHub is one that, I ideally, from my standpoint as a sales manager, I'd like to see a virtual, 100%, which I know you would, usage rate, because, this is something that any and every homeowner, whether it be someone that's just going to constantly go to the app or, go to their smart speaker and always be asking questions, or the person that has that, once a year or once in a couple year need for a major catastrophe. I think that good management, make sure that we're able to show that value and how this can, be such an important, unique part of an agent's business. And frankly, to me, it shows that our company, has a cutting edge mentality, that we're not just, relying on the traditional aspects only, or to the flip side, just relying on, new electronic stuff only as well. HomeHub kind of, in my personal opinion, brings those two realms together.
From an agent perspective, besides an office manager perspective, when an agent thinks about this and how this can help them as an agent, and why HomeHub powered by thisisourlist.com is so great for their seller and buyer clients, maybe past clients that they've worked with, and also we've added in the sphere of influence. Can you give us your thoughts on from an agent perspective, how that helps them with those different styles?
But I think from the agent standpoint, here where we are locally, we have, as of this morning, 950 residential listings on the market. A balanced market in the real estate in real estate terms should be in our market about 4,000 listings. So 950 listings, 4,000 listings is balanced. We have almost 4,700 agents in Brevard County. So simple math tells me that if there are two sides to every deal, which we know there's not, but let's say there's two sides to every deal, that's almost 5,000 agents chasing 1,700 sides. These agents need something to enforce their value proposition, and they need something that also gives them the confidence in their value proposition. To me, that's as big. HomeHub is not going to sell a home. However, what HomeHub is going to do, in my opinion, is it's going to be a differentiating factor for that agent, linking them to our company. Again, going back to what I said, giving them the opportunity to solve problems in real time that strengthen a relationship, but truly giving an agent who maybe is a $3 to $5 million producer unique attributes that they can go in and they can win over the $40 million producer. Because when you mix an asset like this with our culture, the way we do things, and the fact that Coldwell Banker Paradise agents typically sell homes for 15% more, and all the wonderful things we bring to bear, that then is a unique value proposition. And that's how someone can go in and they can compete on their own unique competitive ground. I'm a huge believer, don't go on other people's competitive ground and try to compete on your own unique competitive ground.
What is the differentiator here? What is the value here in terms of, if I were an agent trying to explain it to my clients, or as an office manager trying to explain it to your agent, what is the value proposition that makes this a differentiator between the competitors? Do you know if your competitors have similar things, or is this just straight up its own offering that they don't have, something like?
So many times, I read a book called Blue Ocean Strategy, which was really cool. It talked about how the minivan changed. It was a totally unique concept. It changed automobiles. It knocked out the station wagon, and it totally was a new market. And how Cirque du Soleil eventually, because of, whether it be animal rights or other things, Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey dominated that market for 300 years. Cirque du Soleil all of a sudden was a new, fresh thing. I look at this product like that. Realtors are out there. We don't have a widget to sell. Realtors will go out there. They'll try to rebate commissions. They'll try to compete in the discount arena. They'll try to, monetize their CMA, which I'm not a big fan of. That's our service. It's our intellectual property. So to me, something like this is truly a unique offering, and it's tangible. And I think that's really hard to do in real estate. A lot of other companies have tried to do it, and I think we all can think of examples that really either didn't go well or got a lot of pushback in our industry.
We talked about the services part of it in terms of the, like whether that's internet or garbage or, changing your address. The other part of it where, almost the genesis of what HomeHub became was thisisourlist.com, which is the vendors and like the kind of verified list of vendors we have in our regions that we are now giving with HomeHub even more, at least again, from our side of things, even more value prop for why you should be part of this. One thing we've noticed, and Danielle can speak to this even better, is this concept that if we're going to bring a vendor into the fold, it always works better if the agent who has that relationship starts that conversation. The last thing either of us want to do is cold call somebody out of nowhere and try to sell them something they know nothing about. We want the relationship to be good and make sure it's a good fit, and then we come in and help close the deal, if you will. If you have potential vendors you're interested in having join, do you have tips or tricks or concepts that you feel are helpful in kind of explaining the value prop from a vendor side?
I have seen agents establish success in marketing themselves, in leveraging specifically social media, but frankly, direct networking, pavement pounding, door knocking, however the hell you want to say it. Again, mixed with social media, mixed with maybe, some basic digital marketing, and video using BombBomb or TikTok or Instagram or whatever to go in and cross promote vendors and talk about vendor relationships. And sometimes those vendors were just local businesses, because I'm a believer in too that if you get too real estatey, a lot of times the train comes right off the tracks and you're not going to get that engagement that you like. I mean, you see it all the time. I mean, what gets the most engagement? When I put pictures of my two crazy little boys out there. That's what gets the most engagement. And maybe if, I'm not out there soliciting myself to sell real estate, but I sprinkle in a little real estate tidbit, and that's where, kind of my call to action is, or whatever the case may be. So I do try to encourage, especially newer agents or agents who maybe are struggling with their pipeline right now, that, look, you can go out there and develop relationships and cross promote. And frankly, this is our list, and HomeHub gives you an opportunity to do that, gives you you're not just walking in and saying, hey, I'm a real estate agent, I love your store, can I take a video, and blah, blah. You're walking in with a little bit more in offering. You're walking in with, hey, I can help you with this, we can start a relationship by this cross promotion. By the way, we have this wonderful program too that can, expose my client base to yours. So right off the bat, I also did see value in that lead generation, kind of marketing, prospecting effort, that agents can use this as a new reason to pound the pavement and develop business to business relationships.
When we have some agents that share their concerns, about sharing their clients' contact information, or they may have, taking the time to learn about new technology and new programs. Do you have any thoughts or any advice that you can offer them along those lines?
I know that I'm not the one being interviewed here, but one thing that I kind of was thinking about from a personal standpoint, when you talk about the positive messaging, is that also translates to how an agent is talking about something to their client. And I kind of think of it to, when your kids fall down, if you start looking panicked and scared, they're going to feel panicked and scared. And I think so much of we've had times where people get an email, a client does, and they go, what the heck is this? And then the agent goes, I don't know what that is. And now there's more panic and fear between the two of them. Whereas if the agent knows, oh yeah, so this, and either preemptively or when that happens, that person all of a sudden feels more comfortable. And the thing is that real estate transactions are new experiences for so many people. When I sold or bought my house for the first time, dot loop was a brand new thing to me. If our agent at the time was or app files, depending on which region you're in, if my agent at the time started panicking about, I don't know why they're asking for your signature, I'm all of a sudden not going to trust that whole thing. But if I say, hey, what's this HomeHub thing? And they go, oh, it's this really cool thing we offer, and they're comfortable talking about it, all of a sudden the client's at ease again. And that fear of what are they doing with my information starts to go down, because they're kind of, vouching for it, if you will. And they still might decide it's not the program for them. That's fine. But at the same time, it's more like the safety concern gets pulled away. So I think when it comes, what it comes back to for me is not only the positive outlook, our core values, the positive messaging you take, but also just the knowledge of what it is, so that you can properly explain it to a client. And then maybe they determine they don't want to use it. That's fine. But the more that you know, the better, the better they're going to feel about it, at least from a safety standpoint. Boiling it all down, what do you love the most about this from an office manager perspective and or an agent perspective? Like, if there's one big thing that you could communicate about HomeHub, what would that be?
I think it goes back to the conversation of value proposition. We're constantly inundated, and don't get me wrong, you know what I mean? I had an agent, it's, we can sit here and we can, talk a lot about, these standard talking points. And I'll give you an anecdotal example. My apologies. It's the only way I can do it. When I was just regurgitating data and talking about the tangible aspects to selling a home when I was out there selling, and I considered myself having a very solid career. I found myself winning 3 or 4 out of 10 times, going up against, whether it be big, small, companies like Coldwell Banker that I couldn't match the resources. And I'm a baseball guy. Hitting, 3 or 400 is not bad, but to me, it wasn't acceptable. And so I kind of took a step back and I said, all right, Steve, your mouth works. You're charming. You make people laugh. They trust you, but that's not enough. It's only winning you barely, not even 50% of the time. And I took a step back and I was I feel like I almost spun my wheels for a year trying to come up with, what's that blue ocean? What's that unique competitive high ground? It's real estate. What do you mean? I can't create an app. I can't create the concierge, as much as I'd love to. So what is it? So I crafted my messaging to, really focusing on a unique value proposition, but first and foremost to getting the customer talking about their end game, not talking about the transaction, not talking about dollars. It was, why are we here? And the customer would be like, what do you mean, why are you here? You're here to sell my house. No, 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 no. Why are we here? Why are you selling your house? Do you want to be by your grandchildren in Cocoa Beach? Do you want to leave your degenerate ex-husband? What are we talking about here? And that would be, and I'd read the room and make a joke out of it, obviously, but that to me was where I crafted the presentation. And that's where I started to find, okay, I'm creating unique high ground because first of all, I'm getting the customer to do more talking than me. And I'm getting them to think about their idealistic situation, their end game, not about what the hell are you going to sell my house for and how much are you going to charge me. So it changed the dynamic of the conversation. And that's when I felt I was able to sprinkle in, I will offer to help you stage your home. I will offer to help you mitigate inspection issues. I will offer to, show your home personally because I'm the expert in your home. That's where I'd have these unique offerings. And then HomeHub just fits beautifully right into that. If I'm here focused on your end game, it's not about selling your home. It's about getting you to Florida with your grandchildren. That's the end game. And I'm going to be with you in every step of the way from getting in the moving truck to once you get down to Florida and you need to then set up your cable and your utilities so you can bring your beautiful grandchildren down and you can spoil the hell out of them. That to me, help a product like this kind of help complete that suite of service that I was offering. And to me, it was, to me that was kind of missing, and it's unique. And so I think that, when we can sprinkle this in with, our unique value proposition of our experience, our unique marketing assets, our unique, internet advertising assets, and all these other things that cause us to sell properties for 15% more and to have more successful transactions. And oh, by the way, we're going to be with you through that and after, so that, when you're down there celebrating with your grandchildren, if you need something, we weren't just there for the transaction, we're there for you. That to me fits so nicely into the way I train a listing presentation that, I love that. That's where I, found that awesomeness that you're, referring to.